Good day, everyone. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Nollie Maoto, Executive Head of Business Intelligence and Analytics, Planning and Monitoring with First National Bank of South Africa. Nollie, thanks for agreeing to sit for this interview all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Good day, Mark. Thank you very much for this privilege of sitting down with me for the prestigious CDO magazine.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited to learn more about your role at First National Bank and the significant contributions that your work is making to advance the security, compliance, and digital innovation of the bank. But before we get into that, why don't you go ahead and share with our viewers a little bit about your background and the path you've taken to hold the position that you currently hold with the bank?
All right. So with regards to my background, it has not been a linear career path. I started off completing an undergraduate in BCom accounting, but subsequently changed it because I didn't feel as an accountant was what I wanted to do from a long-term perspective. As a result of how I felt accounting was boring and mundane. This is despite having a full scholarship to study accounting from PwC, which is PricewaterhouseCoopers. I then changed degrees and did a BCom in financial management and honors in financial management, and later completed my MBA at the Gordon Institute of Business Science, where I majored in strategy and disruptive innovation. I've also completed a postgraduate program in data science and business analytics from the University of Texas at Austin McCombs Business School of Business. And then from a career perspective, I started off at Accenture as a graduate in the graduate program as a technical okay. Analyst. And through the management and consulting area of Accenture, I came across a lot of business intelligence and data projects, and that's where I got bitten by the data bug.
You got bitten by the data bug. That's pretty awesome, right?
I did. I did. It wasn't my main focus, but being around such teams, I actually just started falling in love with it. Mm-hmm. And I then decided to teach myself how to code in SQL. But I think the fact that I'd actually done statistics and informatics at university did help me transition into data analytics. And throughout the years, then I managed to become a senior business analytics manager, a product owner and program manager. I ended up then being a senior manager with a data analytics and business analytics team, where I looked after that functional area for one of the management consulting firms in South Africa. And this was all prior to me moving to FNB.
Awesome. Well, that's a really interesting background, and you obviously come to it with a lot of passion and hands-on experience as you lead the journey for the bank. As we get started in the interview, I'd like you maybe to describe the scope of your work in the current role that you hold for FNB, and where do you report within the organizational structure?
Okay, so this is going to take a bit of a while because, as my title says, I am the Executive Head of Business Intelligence, Analytics, and Planning and Monitoring. So this is for the Connect to Customer Business Unit within First National Bank of South Africa. So what that actually then means is, under the Business Intelligence Analytics team, we look to bridge the gap between systems, and that's the raw data that they create, and business, and what the business needs to track to ensure it meets its deliverables and is able to make decisions from insights that we provide them. So how we do this is we're involved in ETLing the data from our own source systems. This is roughly about 25 source systems that my team actually looks after. Then we transform that data so it's consumable, and we enrich it with other data from the rest of the bank. We then share our outputs in this data in different ways, either as raw data, where we provide some teams access to my team's data as data products, or on our SQL box, or we share it in some sort of visualization tool, whether in Power BI or ClickView or ClickSense. We also utilize the entire Microsoft stack, but mostly SSRS, which is SQL Server Reporting Services for reporting. We use Power BI and ClickView. These are just some of the tools that we use as a team. But currently, my team actually services 32 banks throughout the bank. 32 teams throughout the bank, from data reporting and visualization. When it comes to analytics, my team actually uses mostly Data Robot as an enterprise AI platform for preparing, creating, and validating our machine learning models. And we use it to also generate predictive analytics. We also use SAS as a programming language on top of the normal SQL language that the entire team actually uses. And then the third team that I look after, which is then the planning and monitoring team. So that's a resource planning team That actually then looks after demand planning, scenario modeling, forecasting and tracking, and scheduling of our bankers that use workforce management. Yeah, that's a mouthful.
There, that is quite a set of responsibilities in your portfolio.
It actually is. And that's just touching at my team. So with me personally, I'm actually the information owner of Connect to Customer. So I sit with the data steward reporting to me. So I'm actually in charge of ensuring that compliance and data governance is adhered to with regards to the first round information governance framework and policy. Then I also sit in a lot of ExCos, which are executive committees within the bank. Whether strategic, operational, there's a data steering committee that I sit at, retail data executive committee. So there's a lot of those. And then I'm also part of the chief data analytics community within the bank as a member.
Okay.
So from a reporting structure perspective, I, as an executive within Connect to Customer, I report to my CEO of Connect to Customer. He, in turn, reports to the CEO of retail. So the bank would then be split between retail and commercial and the public service. So he reports to the CEO of retail, and the CEO of retail reports to the CEO of the entire bank. So I'm 3 levels down from the CEO of the bank.
So a pretty impactful reporting structure exposure for you in the portfolio of services that you're providing. In terms of the overall value proposition for your organization, can you speak a little bit about the way it's perceived in the mission execution success of the bank? So how is your organization's function really valued at the C-suite level?
So it is extremely valued. So with regards to Connect Customer, as a business unit, we look after what is called capabilities. In other terms, those are actually systems and platforms that are actually utilized by the entire bank, whether by bankers internally in the bank or as customers externally in the bank. So what that means is my entire team is then in charge of all the BI and analytics on those capabilities. So I'll give you an example. We've got a telephony system that was built internally in the bank. So the entire bank uses that telephony system. So if a customer calls into the bank, they're utilizing that telephony system. So we're able to actually track the entire customer interaction anywhere in the bank utilizing their telephony system. That also allows us to also track the bankers themselves to actually find out, as an example, this banker logged in at this time, these are the calls that they took, how long that call was, did they reach SLA, how many calls were actually dropped, etc. So we end up actually doing reporting for that capability across the entire bank, thereby providing them with a lot of insights and visualizations and reporting for decision making. Another example is what we call secure chat. So this is where customers are able to chat with their bankers using our online app. Same thing, we are responsible for all the reporting and insights for that particular capability.